When your mind becomes a battlefield, remember, it is not your logic but your trust in Allah that wins the war within. My brothers and sisters, how many times have you sat alone, thinking so deeply that your thoughts begin to choke you? You think, and you think until your heart trembles. You replay every word, every situation, every fear. You try to calculate every possible outcome. And in that endless noise inside your head, you begin to lose peace. You begin to lose faith. You begin to lose yourself. Listen carefully. Overthinking is not wisdom. Overthinking is the silent storm that destroys your faith from within. You see, when your mind becomes a battlefield, you are not fighting the world anymore, you are fighting your own soul. And the enemy is not the problem. It's the doubt that whispers, "What if Allah forgets me?" But let me tell you tonight, Allah never forgets. The Lord who created your heartbeat before you ever felt it, the Lord who planned your story before you took your first breath, He does not abandon what He Himself created. You are trying to solve everything with your mind, but your mind was never meant to carry what only faith can hold. The Prophet taught us, when you have done your part, trust in Allah. Do you understand the weight of that word? Trust, it is not passive. It is surrender. It is silence in the middle of chaos. It is choosing to say, "Why Allah? I don't know what's next, but I know you are with me." Every time you think you can fix it, every time you think you can control it, life will humble you again. Why? Because Allah wants you to remember that your intellect is a gift, but it is not the key to destiny. Destiny belongs to Him alone. When your mind becomes heavy with, "What if?" answer it with, "Allah is enough for me." When your thoughts attack you at night, and you cannot sleep because your heart is racing, remember, no amount of thinking can rewrite what Allah has already written for you. Sometimes Allah allows the overthinking to exhaust you, until you finally drop your weapons, your plans, your assumptions, your fears, and you fall into sujood, whispering, "I can't anymore." And that is the moment of victory. Because that is when trust begins. That is when the battlefield becomes silent. That is when Allah takes over. So, the next time your mind starts racing, stop fighting what you cannot control. Stop questioning every turn. Stop analyzing every silence. Just breathe and say, "Why Allah? You know." That's it. Why Allah? You know. Say it until it sinks into your soul. Because sometimes, peace is not found in understanding everything. It's found in trusting the one who already does. And when you begin to trust Him, truly trust Him, you start to notice something. Every sleepless night, every restless thought, every silent tear that falls when no one is watching. They are not random moments of weakness. They are divine messages. Signs from the Almighty whispering, "My servant, why do you still hold on to what I already promised to take care of?" Each moment of anxiety, each ache of confusion is not a punishment. It's an invitation to surrender what you cannot control and return to the one who controls everything. You see, sometimes Allah allows your thoughts to keep circling, not because He wants to torture you, but because He wants to turn your direction. He wants you to stop running to people, to stop seeking comfort in what cannot sustain you. He wants to strip away your false dependencies until there is nothing left between you and Him. That is not cruelty. That is mercy. Mercy in its purest, most painful form. Because real peace cannot enter a heart that is still negotiating with fear. It can only enter a heart that has given up the illusion of control. Have you ever wondered why your mind doesn't rest even when you have done everything right? You prayed. You tried. You planned. And still, your heart feels unsettled. That unease, that storm, that restless energy, it is Allah reminding you that you have relied too much on the means and too little on the maker of means. You think the outcome depends on your strategy, your words, your timing, but Allah says in the Quran, "And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him." Sufficient, meaning He completes what you cannot. When you lie awake at night, turning your worries over and over in your head, you are not just tired. You are being called. Allah is saying, "Talk to me." Because when you talk to Him, the storm inside you begins to calm. You were never meant to carry everything alone. You were meant to pray through it. not think through it. You were meant to cry before Allah, not collapse before life. And that's why some people can go through disasters and still find peace, while others collapse under small trials. It's not the size of the problem, it's the size of the trust. When you trust Allah, your fear loses its voice. When you trust Him, your overthinking turns into tawakkul. And tawakkul is not weakness. It's strength disguised as surrender. So when the night feels long, when your thoughts won't stop screaming, don't drown in them. Lift your hands. Whisper, Wa Allah, I give this to you. Because until you give it to Him, it will keep consuming you. But once you release it, once you truly surrender, something beautiful happens. The same thoughts that once broke you become the very reason you find peace. Because you finally realize, it was never your battle to fight. It was His all along. The delay, the pain, the confusion, they are not punishments, they are divine preparations for what you prayed for. But in the middle of that storm, you don't see it, do you? You see silence, you see rejection, you see doors closing, one after another, and your heart begins to whisper. Maybe Allah doesn't want this for me. But listen, when Allah delays, He's not denying, He's designing. Designing a path, refining your soul, preparing your spirit to carry the very thing you once asked Him for. We are quick to ask, but rarely ready to receive. We pray for greatness, yet we crumble at discomfort. We beg for strength, yet we run from struggle. But Allah knows, your dua cannot manifest until your character can handle it. The pain, the confusion, the waiting, they are the training grounds of your destiny. You're not being punished, you're being purified. Because only a purified heart can carry divine blessings without being destroyed by them. When Yusuf A.S. was thrown into the well, it looked like the end. When he was sold as a slave, it looked like humiliation. When he was imprisoned unjustly, it looked like abandonment. But each of those moments, each heartbreak, each betrayal, was not a punishment. It was divine preparation. Allah was not destroying Yusuf's life. He was aligning it with purpose. And one day, the same hands that once chained him were forced to honor him. That is what happens when you trust the process of Allah. And maybe right now you are in your own. Well, maybe life feels dark, tight, and hopeless. Maybe you're asking, why me? Ya Allah? Why this pain? But what if that pain is your preparation? What if Allah is not breaking you? He's building you. Every unanswered prayer, every heartbreak, every loss is not a delay. It's a divine reshaping. He is stretching you, molding you, turning your weakness into wisdom, your confusion into conviction. Because the promise cannot come until the person is ready. So stop labeling your trials as tragedies. They are transitions. You're not stuck. You're in the making. What you see as delay is Allah rewriting your timeline to match your destiny. What you see as pain is Allah teaching your heart to detach from what will one day destroy your peace. What you see as confusion is Allah's mercy blocking you from walking into something that looks beautiful but would have crushed you from within. And one day, when you look back, you'll thank Him for every unanswered prayer. You'll realize the job you didn't get, the person who left, the moment that broke you. They were all blessings wearing the disguise of loss. Because Allah does not waste your tears. He transforms them into wisdom. He does not delay to punish. He delays to prepare. And when His preparation is complete, what once confused you will make you fall to your knees in gratitude, saying, Now I see. Ya Allah, now I understand. True peace begins the moment you stop arguing with destiny and start believing that Allah never makes mistakes. Because as long as you keep questioning, as long as you keep fighting the divine plan, your soul will never rest. You see, we lose peace not because life is hard, but because we keep resisting what Allah has already written. You pray for calm, but you argue with His decree. You beg for clarity, but you reject His timing. You say, Ya Allah, I trust you. Yet the moment something doesn't go your way, your heart screams, why? Why? That's the voice of ego. And peace will never visit a heart where ego speaks louder than faith. When you finally stop fighting what Allah has allowed, something incredible happens, silence. That silence is not emptiness, it's contentment. It's the soul whispering, I surrender. because surrender is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength, the moment when your heart bows deeper than your body ever could. It's when your tears fall, not from pain, but from realization that everything Allah took away, everything delayed, everything He changed, was for a reason far greater than you could ever see. We think peace will come when everything makes sense. No, peace comes when you stop needing it to. When you stop demanding that Allah explain Himself. When you start trusting that even the unanswered questions are written with mercy. Every chapter of your life, the ones that broke you, the ones that healed you, were authored by the same hand, and that hand never writes without purpose. Think about it. The same Allah who split the sea for Musa ASA, who saved Yusuf's AS from the well, who comforted Maryam AS in her pain, that same Allah is writing your story right now. And yet you still doubt that He knows what He's doing. Subhanallah, you don't see the full picture. You only see the moment. But Allah sees the masterpiece. You see the puzzle piece. He sees the completed design. And when you stop arguing with destiny, you begin to see what He saw all along: beauty hidden in hardship, wisdom hidden in waiting, peace hidden in surrender. My brothers and sisters, sometimes Allah takes you through fire not to burn you, but to burn away everything that is not meant for you. Sometimes He closes doors, not because you're unworthy, but because the room behind them is beneath the greatness He's preparing you for. And sometimes He lets your heart break, not because He enjoys your pain, but because through that crack, light enters. Through that wound, faith grows. So stop fighting destiny. Stop trying to rewrite what Allah has already perfected. Instead, raise your hands and say, "Why Allah? I accept. I may not understand, but I accept." That moment, that raw, trembling surrender, is when peace will finally flood your soul. Because peace is not found in controlling life. It's found in trusting the one who controls everything. And when you reach that point, you will understand that Allah never made a mistake with you. He was always guiding you home.